All right. So what I have for you today is another Spin Master set. Been going through a lot of Spin Master stuff lately. This is from their Batman line, and it is the Wayne Tower Mayhem set with Batman plus Superman versus Lex Luthor. So ostensibly, this is a part of the Batman line. They got the Batman emblem on there. You got a picture of Batman up in the corner. You got that Gotham City backdrop. Batman all over the place. Got a nice picture on the back with the figures photoshopped into a battle scene. But that having been said, this is really more of a Superman set because you got Batman, but you also have Superman. And the villain of the set is Superman's villain. And one of the things that sets this, one of the actual, I think, exclusive things in this set, I haven't seen it anywhere else, is the mother boxes, which means it's also kind of the vague Zack Snyder tie-in, because that's definitely a Zack Snyder style mother box. I didn't read a whole lot of New 52 comics, so maybe it was that was how they drew the mother boxes in the New 52 as well, but I couldn't tell you. So, but it's the same Superman that we've seen many times, and I've talked about this Superman figure on this channel in one of the videos. We're about to talk about him again a little bit. You got the Batman in what is clearly Dark Knight Returns inspired armor, like the suit that he wore when he fought Superman. So even the Batman is like a Superman adjacent version of Batman. So you see what I'm talking about. This is a Superman set. I don't care if it's got the Batman emblem down here. This really should be an S shield. This should be a Superman set that happens to have Batman in it. But, Batman, he's the one who sells all those wonderful toys. So we gotta give him some emphasis. And granted, Batman's like my favorite character. I'm not going to complain about, them featuring Batman heavily, but it's a Superman set. Let's be real. So I do again really like this picture on the back. It's just Photoshop images of toys, but it seems like Spin Master does that really well. So let's go ahead and open her up. Pretty excited about this. So I waited till this set was on clearance before I bought it because I want to say the original price on this was something like $30. And that's a little bit more than each of these figures should cost individually. And, of course, I already have this Superman figure several times. I already have this Batman figure. And something really just ticked me off right now. Look at this. They put a tab through Superman's cape. That's like what McFarlane did with Superpowers that ticked everybody off. And that's going to be a permanent hole that's going to go through Cape because it's this, kind of, the Spin Master Christmas ribbon kind of fabric. His cape is ruined. Absolutely ruined. So that's very disappointing. Hopefully that's just how that worked on my particular sample. And that wasn't supposed to go through his cape like that. Because I can't imagine they'd want to have it go through his cape like that. Hopefully just the cape got in the way. But I'm very disappointed that now this Superman figure is going to have a hole through his cape for all of eternity. So the good news is like I said, I've already got this Superman figure. I've bought him a few times for customs and such. And I even have the black suited variant, which I very much enjoy. That one was based on the what do you call it? Right at the end of the New 52, when they brought the original Superman back, because he was a separate character, and the New 52 Superman was a completely different character, legally distinct from the original Superman. They're two different entities, but they brought Superman back, and he had a black suit because he was existing on the New 52 universe and didn't want to cause, like, I don't know, some kind of paradox or something like that. Didn't want to interfere with the destiny of this world's Superman. So he wore a black kind of stealthy suit, and he was kind of a Superman in secret, taking up the slack from the New 52 Superman. But once Rebirth happened, he was back to being the main Superman. And this is based on one of the costumes that he wore after Rebirth, but it's not 100% either one. You had the Rebirth costume and the Superman Reborn costume. Those were two completely different things. And the main difference between this one and the Rebirth costume is the Rebirth costume actually had blue boots with red trim at the top. It still had the trim at the top, and that was still red, but the boots themselves were blue. So other than that, it pretty much looked like this one with the solid red belt, no trunks, blue suit, blue boots. That was the main difference between that Superman and this Superman. Now, at the time that this figure originally came out, that was when they'd done the Superman Reborn storyline, and he got yet another Superman costume that looked pretty much exactly like this figure, except for the belt buckle was yellow. So he didn't have a solid red belt. He had a red belt with a yellow buckle. And so it was this is neither fish nor fowl. It's definitely a post Rebirth Superman, but it's not either one of those costumes specifically 100% in terms of what it's accurate to. Now, that having been said, it is a nice figure and I like it. So let's talk about the Spin Master articulation real quick while I got this guy out. So his arms rotate all the way around this way, elbow rotates all the way around this way. You get like a 90-degree angle at the elbow, and it actually bends down, I think, a little too far that way when you straighten his arm out. But you don't have to bend it that way if you don't want to. Arms go up pretty darn far. That's how far the arm goes up at that hinge. No wrist articulation, unfortunately. I think that the wrist articulation would really make these figures sing. And in fact, when I made my Christopher Reeve Superman figure that I made from a Spin Master figure, I wound up cutting the fists off and drilling out a little hole, and I used some fist hands that I bought off of Marauder Task Force. And so my Christopher Reeve Superman that I made out of the Spin Master Superman, he actually has articulated wrists. So going back to more articulation, legs move up about that far. You do have a thigh cut, so you can swivel the leg all the way around that way, so that's good. This is a ball-jointed knee, bends about that far, bends up about that far. The kneecap won't let it bend any further, but that's okay. You don't want it to bend any further than that anyway. And of course, the knee rotates all the way around. So, and then he can do the splits no problem. This is a nice ball-jointed, how Spin Master usually does it. This is the standard for Spin Master, unlike that weird hip articulation they had with Black Adam. Superman can get into all kinds of different action poses, and you can get him into the classic Kurt Swan Superman flying pose very easily. So yeah, this is a great figure of Superman. I really like it. I do wish they would go ahead and do a version with the trunks, since he's had the trunks back in the comics for a long time now, and I think it's past due that Spin Master do a Superman figure with trunks. Like I said, I made a Christopher Reeve Superman figure using one of these as the base, so I was able to put the trunks on him very easily, and I think that this figure looks actually really good with the trunks. So moving on, Superman does come with one accessory. By the way, I really like the background on this, and I wish they hadn't have done it in such a way where they had these bubbles glued to the package, because much like I've said about some of the McFarlane figures where they do the backgrounds, it's a shame that this I'm just going to cut through the bubble, actually, because it's being really difficult trying to come off. But even if I just cut the bubble off, it's still going to have like the edge of the bubble stuck to this thing, and it's not going to look very good. But this would make a great backdrop for some figures if it wound up coming loose anyway once I pulled this off. But this would make a great backdrop for some figures if only they found a way to, like, maybe you could just have like a little slice in the background and kind of have a tab on the plastic and tape it in the back. Like some way to make it so that this could be use as a backdrop for display, because it really is some nice artwork. It's got the bat signal and everything, but of course it's not going to work because the bubbles are glued straight to it. Go ahead and get out one of the accessories. So it's this little barricade thing here. It's got some barbed wire wrapped around it. It looks like something if you were going to block off a road or something like that. So that's one of the exclusive accessories, or at least one of the extra accessories in this set. I don't know if it ever came with anything else. So we also have this pillar, which honestly, this looks more like something that should come with a Wonder Woman set. Like, doesn't she look cool next to that? Like a little piece of Paradise Island or something. So I just happen to have her hand. So we can do a Trinity setup later. That'll be fun. So, and then Superman's one accessory. The main difference between these figures that I can tell as far as versus the single carded ones is they come with less accessories. So they each come with one special accessory. I know they've got the mother boxes above Batman, but I don't really think of that as being a Batman accessory so much as just a general accessory for this set. And then the last of those, we got the pillar, we got the barricade, we got the mother boxes, and we have this boulder that actually splits open. So I would imagine a kid could have a lot of fun with this boulder that splits open, like hiding stuff inside of it. You know, maybe it's a meteor that crashes to Earth and it's got some kind of artifact hidden inside of it. Like, let's say, take this Superman armor here. I think that should fit in there. So you could put the Superman armor in there, and maybe it crashes down. Superman goes to investigate this meteor, and he looks through it with his X-ray vision and sees something that surprises him, and he smashes it open, and it's this this armored breastplate. What's up with this armored breastplate? It's got the symbol of the House of El on it. Does it have something to do with Jor-El? Superman puts it on. What's it gonna do? So there we go. That's what Superman looks like with the breastplate. And it's not like Superman really needs armor. And also another thing is every time that most times that I've bought this figure single carded, he usually comes with a blue breastplate, like a lighter blue than the rest of his suit. And this one's in red. So I think this would work really well for if I wanted to do a custom of Jor-El. I think Jor-El would look really cool with that. In fact, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to buy an extra Superman and put it onto that one. For now, I'm going to leave it on this one. So the next figure we got in this set is Batman. And he's got a little rubber band holding him in at the feet. And another one here at the waist that I didn't see because it was kind of a little close to his utility belt. And there we got Batman out of the set. And anybody who is a fan of the comic books, obviously you've read Dark Knight Returns. Like I don't know why you wouldn't have read Dark Knight Returns at this point. It's, you know, considered to be one of the greatest Batman stories of all time. You should read that story. But this is very similar. It's not identical. It's got some differences, like the Batman emblem on the chest, because branding is important, chum. But it's very similar to the armor that Frank Miller designed in that story for Superman, for Batman to fight Superman. So he built himself a suit of armor to keep Superman from just completely trashing him. Didn't really help too much because Superman still like punched him in the chest and broke 3 of his ribs. So you can only do so much with Earth metal, my man. So yeah, so there's our 2 heroes, you know, Son of Krypton versus the Bat of Gotham, Fight Night. Like I said, this is a very Snyder sort of set. So even I didn't really talk about this in the other videos where I talked about it, but the design of that is very close to, you know, what they wore on Snyder's Krypton. Like I said, it's going to work great for a Jor-El custom. But yeah, so that's those 2. And like I said, this is a very, very Snyder-esque set. You know, he used the sorry, I don't know why I'm so sweaty. I did some work outside earlier. Maybe my body just hasn't figured out it's inside yet and can be cool. So but yeah, Snyder used this design, the Frank Miller design, I should say, for his version of Batman when he fought Superman in that particular film. So let's go ahead and move on to some other stuff in the set. So we got Batman out. We might as well pull out his accessory, and it's just kind of stuck in the bubble. Didn't have anything holding it in, and it's this grappling hook launcher. So probably the least effective weapon to fight Superman that the original figure came with. I remember he also came with like some other stuff that would be a little more appropriate, like a buzzsaw and things like that. A green buzzsaw, so you know maybe it actually could do a little bit of damage to Superman. But you know, grappling a gun—that's a pretty typical Batman accessory. I would say, with the exception of a batarang, that would be like you know the Batman accessory you would want to have, even if it you know probably isn't going to help him too much against Superman. So so yeah, probably the most Batfleck figure that they made in the 3 3/4 inch line. Although, like, I think the regular Batman, I have him around here somewhere because I know I still had a bunch of those Spin Master 3 3/4 inch figures. Yeah, he's definitely got a lot of Batfleck to him. He's got that Batfleck bulk. So, in fact, if we hold the two Batman next to each other, even with the armor on, it doesn't really make him that much bigger just because he's a big dude. And, you know, especially in the Rebirth costume with no trunks, this is pretty close to a Henry Cavill Superman. So they never actually made Henry Cavill Superman because Spin Master got the license too late for that. And they never really made an official Batman v Superman Batman either for the same reason. Although there is a figure of Ben Affleck as he appears in the Flash movie that I think is a Target exclusive that comes with the motorcycle. I hadn't gotten around to getting that one yet, but I'm not too crazy about the costume that he had in the Flash movie. So, you know, this to me is close enough to being a Ben Affleck Batman. He looks like the Batman from the comic books, and Ben Affleck looks like that Batman. So I'm cool with that. So I'm going to sit him over there. And in fact, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to borrow from this Batman, the one that came with the Mr. Freeze set. He came with that grenade launcher. So I'm going to go ahead and, as far as our BVS theme goes, I'm going to swipe that grenade launcher and give it to the standard Batman. So then he can shoot some kryptonite grenades at Doomsday later on. And I could give this one to the armored Batman also if I wanted to. The great thing about action figure accessories, you can just, you know, give them to whatever figure you want to have them. Like if you think it's stupid that Luke Skywalker came with a yellow lightsaber, even though he had a blue lightsaber in the movie, and you want to give him the one that came with Obi-Wan Kenobi because you want your Luke to have a blue lightsaber, well, you can do that, can't you? That's pretty cool. So here are the mother boxes, and they are, you know, I believe all three look to be identical to me. And, you know, it turns out in our storyline that we're developing right now, as we're talking about it, is that Jor-El knew that there was a danger of the mother boxes arriving on Earth, or already were on Earth. They were on Earth in the Snyder version. But in ours, they could be coming from other planets, and you know, Darkseid could have brought them here for some nefarious purpose. And I do have the Spin Master Darkseid figure right here, so he could be having some nefarious plans, could he not? So maybe you know, this is something that Jor-El sent off to Earth in that meteor. I don't know why he sent it in a meteor, but you know, we're just using our imaginations. So a little extra protection for Superman versus the mother boxes in case somebody finds them and misuses them. So I'm going to set two of these aside because, like I said, they're pretty much identical, and we can look at them. So it's got this design sculpted into it. Now, like I said, this is not what I remember the mother boxes looking like in the comic book at all. So I see a mother box like this, and I'm thinking about Zack Snyder's Justice League and how those were in that. Like the way I remember the mother boxes in the comics, as Jack Kirby did them, is like they were kind of like the New Gods equivalent of a smartphone, and they could generate matter like in the movie, but really like any New Gods character just had a mother box like the same way you'd have a smartphone and could open up boom tubes and stuff like that. So yeah, this is a different version of the mother box. This is more like in the movies. And like I said, I don't know if these versions were ever really used in the comic books at all. But if they were, it would have been during the New 52 era when I wasn't really reading much DC Comics. So if anybody knows for certain and wants to let me know in the comments, please do. I would like to know myself. So last but not least, the whole reason I bought this set, the greatest criminal mind of all time, ruler of Australia, almost destroyer of Hackensack, New Jersey. Yeah, I know I said this is a very Snyder-esque set, but I'm still thinking about that Gene Hackman Lex Luthor. I mean, I grew up with the Richard Donner Superman movie. What do you want? And he's got his one accessory, and it's this kryptonite axe. And this thing is like super embedded in this plastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little pick that I use a lot of the times for whenever I gotta get 3D prints free from their supports. It's pretty helpful for that, and it was pretty helpful for prying this axe out of its plastic prison. Interesting thing about this axe is, does that shape look familiar to you? Does that look like something that Lex Luthor would have designed? I don't think so. That's a bat. That is clearly a bat, but it's definitely supposed to be kryptonite. It's got like this rough hewn quality to the blades, and they're a little more symmetrical than I would think something like that would be. But it does look like it's shipped out of rock. So yeah, this would be a kryptonite axe, and this is something that Batman has with him, so he can fight Superman with it. And okay, so I'm gonna make a little change to our story now. So this is what happens instead. This is what I figured out happens is that this is, like I said, ancient. This is in our story. It's going to be ancient Kryptonian tech. It was designed by some ancestor of Jor-El when the mother boxes were causing a problem on Krypton, and he sent it in the direction of the Earth. Because he thought the mother boxes might appear there. This is before he would have sent Kal-El in the rocket ship, by the way. So, and then the rocket ship that he sent it in, we're gonna go with kind of a Richard Donner kind of idea, where this was like more of a crystalline ship, and it melted when it finally crashed to Earth. And Batman was the one who found this. So Batman finds this ancient Kryptonian tech, and he's going to let Superman know about it. But Darkseid is already on Earth, and he's already working up some kind of nefarious plan with these mother boxes, and Lex Luthor is working with him because it's a chance for him to destroy Superman, and that's the thing that he's obsessed with. So Darkseid and Lex use the mother boxes to corrupt Superman. They're able to solve the secret of anti-life, and Superman is corrupted. So Batman has to take out Superman. So he puts on his Superman fighting armor, and he has this kryptonite axe, and they have a big old fight. But he brings the armor with him, and once he's able to incapacitate Superman and knock him unconscious, he puts this armor on Superman, and the armor actually interrupts the flow of the anti-life and puts him back to normal. So that's why he's wearing this armor. It doesn't actually protect his physical form. It projects a field around him that protects him from the corrupting influence of the mother box. So after this, Luthor then snatches up Batman's kryptonite axe because he thinks it's pretty cool. I mean, it's a kryptonite axe. How can he not love that? Maybe the bat shape is a little ostentatious. We might modify that a little bit later. But yeah, let's talk about Luthor since I got him out of the package now. Again, we got the kind of typical Spin Master articulation, but his arms only go up about yay far because of the armor. It kind of gets in the way. By the way, Batman didn't really talk about his articulation too much, but that's about how far up his arms go. They do rotate all the way around this way. They come down about that far. Got about a 90-degree bend at the angle at the elbow. Got a straight arm like that, so just straight enough. This is based on a new 52 design for Lex's armor, which I actually do like this design. It's not the Bronze Age version I grew up with, but it's definitely close enough. It definitely, to me, feels like that Superpowers Luthor design. So kudos to them on that. I do like that. That's one of the few new 52 designs that isn't so bad. So elbows rotate all the way around this way. Legs go up that far. Knees bend about that far. Knees rotate all the way around. And he does have a thigh cut and the ball jointed hips. He can do the splits, no problem. All right. So likewise with Batman, he can do the splits. Not quite as well as Lex. So in terms of what Lex Luthor is better at versus Batman, he's better at designing armor that allows him to move. So there we go. Thumbs up to Lex Luthor for that. So, oh, and then Wonder Woman shows up to help because I have her handy. So this is kind of like almost like our alternate version of Batman v Superman mashed up with Zack Snyder's Justice League. So we get the team up of Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman, who did not come with this set, versus Lex Luthor and Darkseid, who also did not come with this set. But that's a pretty formidable battle, wouldn't you say? So there we go. And I'm going to go ahead and take the armor off of Superman again. And then we can do our Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice thing with all three of these characters together. And if Spin Master made a Doomsday figure, I could have him fight Doomsday. But they didn't, so I don't have one. So maybe I'll make one. Maybe I'll do a custom Doomsday figure. That might be fun. So yeah, going back to Lex Luthor, he was the main reason I bought this set, because even though they did make a single-carded Lex Luthor, I never saw him, and I've been looking for one for a long time, so I really wanted to have this figure. I thought it looked really cool. But apparently he was just really ridiculously short-packed, because I've never seen one in person. And he kind of like with Green Lantern, with the John Stewart Green Lantern figure, is the only time I ever saw that Green Lantern was in one of those Walmart dumps for like Easter toys, and I happened to see John Stewart, and I saw John Stewart and Harley Quinn and Deathstroke. So I bought all three of them, and I saw a few John Stewarts, but I'm like, and I was thinking about buying a second one so I could make a Hal Jordan, and I wound up not, because I'm like, I'm already buying like 3 figures here, and I want to get as many characters as I can. So yeah, I'll come back for this in a couple of days once I get paid. And by then, that was gone. And I never saw Green Lantern at a retail store again. And he sells for pretty expensive on Amazon. And in hindsight, I probably should have just put Harley Quinn or Deathstroke back, because I've seen them a few times since. But I've never, ever seen that Green Lantern figure again. So that's unfortunate. But Lex I've never seen at all. So this set was finally my way of getting this Lex Luthor figure, which is why, like, I didn't mind, paying at least the markdown price, which was something like $16, I didn't mind paying that just to have Lex, because he sells for like $10 more than that on Amazon. So that was a way for me to get Lex for, you know, a fairly affordable price. And I do get some other cool accessories out of the deal. And of course, I've got like an extra Superman, and he's going to be good for customs. I'm probably going to make him into a character that doesn't have a cape, since they decided to put a hole through his cape. Thanks, guys. So it's not going to be a variant of Superman, obviously. It's going to be some other character. And this Batman, I'm not sure what I'm going to wind up doing with this Batman, since, you know, like I said, I already have this Batman, and like, I can't really think of anything much more to do with him to make some other like heavily armored character, obviously. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this extra Batman to make Steel. That's what I'm going to use this extra Batman for. I think that would work out really well. I know that I've seen, I have a set to make a Zip Guy Steel figure that I haven't gotten around to yet. So I could probably scale down the head and the hammer for that in my 3D printer, and even the emblem maybe. If not, there's other ways I could do a Steel emblem, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm gonna make this guy into Steel. That's what I'll wind up doing with him. I am so smart. I am so smart. All right, so that's pretty much it for this episode. If you can find this set marked down at your Walmart, I do recommend picking it up. It's a good set of figures, and it's a good way. Even if you got it for full price, like, you know, it's probably a better deal to get the set just for Lex Luthor in that than to pay the, you know, almost $30 that figure is on Amazon, and get some other figures out of the deal. If you don't have that Batman and you don't have that Superman, that's all the more reason to pick it up. So pretty good set of figures. I would complain that the even though it did make for a nice display, there was a lot of empty space in this package, and I think they probably could have shrunk it up a little bit more. But this was something that would have come out around Christmas time, and just like a nice gift set to give to a kid for Christmas, or have sitting underneath the Christmas tree or whatever. So that was the story of that. And we're pretty much done for now. So I'm going to call it a day. I'm probably going to go take a nap before I got to go to work. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Let me know what you think about these figures and the Spin Master figures in general. I think they're pretty fun action figures. They've got like a decent amount of articulation for a 3 3/4 inch figure these days. These are cheaper than, you know, the 5-point of articulation figures that you see like in the Marvel line, or with, you know, the reaction figures. They cost about half the price of the reaction figures, and got a lot more articulation. So I don't know why those are so expensive. Like, I swear, if those G.I. Joe Super 7 figures were $5, I probably would have bought all of them. But they're like $20 a piece for a 3 3/4 inch figure with 5 points of articulation. Meanwhile, I'm spending like $7 or $8 generally when I buy one of these things. So yeah, I like the Spin Master figures. And Marvel now, Hasbro is putting out some Marvel figures in kind of the Spin Master format. And I do have one of those coming up to open. So we'll get to see my thoughts on those if you're interested in that. And I'm hoping that those will be those will be something that can rival the Spin Master figures, because I would like to have some Marvel figures that would be compatible with these. Anyway, we will talk to you next time. Bye.